Hey there my beautiful people, Barofist, and welcome again to the leveling tutorial 15 to 80, fastest in the world indeed. In this video I will show you how to replicate what I'm doing exactly and level your alts in hours instead of days. With that being said, let's begin. This is part 2 of that very guide which you can instantly start talking about, considering that you have watched part 1 where we discuss all that we're going to need to make this happen, and it's mandatory since I won't say anything of part 1 here to preserve time, of course, avoid cluster and everything that I say there, it's required here. So to save time, hit pause button on this video, go there and watch the video. You can find the link in the card above, this description below, do it! While you're watching that, something that I forgot to mention in part 1 as well is that we've worked and developed this idea from data back in Breath of the Lich King with a friend on Discord called BizBan666. If I'm correct, he has stream as well. You can find some of his link in the description, check him out and say thanks for the idea and for the help and for everything else. With that being said, let's see what's the action in part 2. Continuing from part 1, we are now at Stockades and waiting to get leveled up. First thing that you have to do is make sure on your monk to remove and unequip anything that might proc any damage, like AoE or anything that can like do any damage. Just remove it from your keybinds. You damage anything, or you die, or your alt dies. You have to die and repeat everything, and we have, you know, what we're about to do basically. So while we're grouped up with your low level, twinked up and maxed up alt, you run with your monk in every room, in every corner of this dungeon, following my route that I'm currently showing on the screen, considering that, you know, it's quite efficient, but you can do also your own route if you don't feel like mine is comfortable for you. Make sure you don't touch any of the minions with spell or attacks with your monk, just body pull everything by running through them. Pull everything possible as shown and make a circle around Stockades, basically just run around the whole dungeon, then go in one of the rooms that is further away from your alt, of course, so he don't pull aggro while you're gathering them all up, but close enough so you don't have to run to Africa, and place your statue close to a door so the mobs have to get in the room to hit it, basically, so that's usually behind the corner or something. When they make a nice round circle of mobs, you kick the monk from the group and you basically with your alt twink throw the grenades that I told you should have in part 1. Of course, I told you which one to buy in the following order: green, then red. If you throw the red grenade, then the green, red puts the green on cooldown. If you throw the green then the red, you can use them both for some reason, I don't know why. Just keep that in mind, it gives nice boost of DPS. I had macro summer for kicking and inviting the monk, of course. I mean, if I find it, I will just give it in the description below, or if some kind gentleman or lady in the comments can give a hand, that would be appreciated as well, but I think it's just /uninvite, you know, whichever name. Now, after you're sure that you have tagged all the mobs, invite the monk back in the group before he gets teleported out, because he's on a 60-second timer after kicking him, which must not go down to 0, of course, or the monk gets teleported, and bye-bye statue, bye-bye your life, bye-bye everything. After that all is done, just do the maximum AoE damage while staying healthy and kill the mobs with your twink alt. Monk must not do damage or touch any of the mobs. If this happens, you will not get full experience. Just make sure you just remove the monk from the equation. As I said in part 1, your alt is doing all the heavy lifting. That is why we do separate video to cover the requirements and how to make your alt strong as f***. Stockade is done in about 7 to 10 minutes per run, depends on your alt optimization, depends on the class, level, etc. But gives about 1.5 to 2 levels per run, depends on the heirlooms, buffs, etc. And this up to here covers part level 15 to level 60, leveling the Stockades. Now, the only thing that that can fail in your run, of course, in Stockades or in ramparts, which we're gonna discuss later, monk touching the ads while pulling, not kicking the monk from the group before you tag all the mobs, the low level twink dying, and couple bugs that rarely happen basically. So if any of these happen, you have to leave the dungeon or die and release, whichever is easier for you. Talking about ramparts, actually, here's how that is done. First you walk in the dungeon, in many ways you can, teleporting to Peninsula, then flying there, getting summoned, etc. You have a lot of ways how you can actually get there, I think. Then follow the route that I'm just showing, following the same rules as Stockades, of course. Round up all the mobs, jump down, pull the statue on that very spot that I show you, and make sure that your alt doesn't die from the hounds that will come after him. You can preset the statue on the same spot that you need to do it later if your alt has no like self-sustain or you just can't bother dealing with that. I didn't mind multi-box the shaman every now and then on the footage, but the hounds will come, you know, after your monk goes away like half of the dungeon, the hounds will come back for your alts and they'll probably kill it if you don't do anything about it. So make sure you do whatever I said. So after your statue is down, you go back with your monk behind some pillar and let your alt do the magic. Kick the monk off the group, throw the green grenade, throw the red grenade, do some AoE for 5 to 10 seconds and then re-invite the monk. Then while the monk is away, finish the mobs up with your alt. Of course, keep the monk away as before. I would highly prefer to use range class or any range spec here that your class can actually use, because I tried this melee and it's nearly impossible to avoid or deal with the fear that the warlocks cast in this dungeon. I did 15 to 60s enhancement with stockades. Here I was forced to change to elemental and respec, re-enchant, re-gear completely because of that, because it was frustrating, you know. If you're like, for example, warrior, you might be able to berserk rage and finish the casters first, but I don't know, like, I just didn't want it to bother, okay? You can try some things if you want. Stay max range possible if you're range and spam the fuck out of them with damage. Ramparts give 1.5 to 2 levels as well per run, and this is done very fast in about 2 to 3 minutes per run, compared to stockage, which is like 7 to 10 minutes. For that reason I have used only once elixir of rapid mind here because it was efficient, and got like 7 levels in its duration, which is very nice. I did that of course by preserving the duration of the elixir by logging out. Something like go out of the dungeon, log out while he pulls, saving about 1 to 1.5 minutes of the 15 minutes elixir, reset the dungeon, go pull in with the monk, and then when the pull is about to be ready, when mobs getting near the statue, I log in with the alk, walk in the dungeon, kick the monk, spam, you know, them as instructed previously, basically. That's how I do the elixir preservation. And that covers the ramparts guide in details as well. With follow-up frequently asked questions, I will probably make another video in future if many concerns arise, if people don't understand everything clearly, but so far that is it for this one, guys. Make sure to subscribe for follow-ups and click that bell button to get notified. Hope this wasn't too long video or too much instructions to be digested, but either way I enjoyed making it, so hope you enjoyed watching it as well and it helped you level up someone or yourself or make gold boosting or whatever. If it did, guys, like the video would be very appreciated, and also if you like to support me more and beyond, becoming my Patreon with some beer or bubblegum money or even whiskey for those with class would be insane. Something like all these legends currently on Patreon that are rolling on the screen, you can see them around. Thank you guys, you're extraordinary for helping pay the bills and buying noodles to eat. You guys are legends. Now I wanted to leave you all in good mood and wish you the very best day. Stay decent, but ofist, and Umrenov.